YouTube? Shukun Shinobi here, taking a break from doing my taxes to bring you another Ramble video. So it's been a while, but hopefully I can start doing these weekly again, now that the big flood of reviews is more or less dwindling down, thanks to a pretty slow January and February in terms of releases. So that's always nice. I can hopefully get these rolling again. This was actually scheduled to be a Tokyuger and Gaim Ramble based on the new toy scans of Tokyu Rokugo and Gaim Kiwami Arms and all that stuff. But Saban decided to drop the ball today and bring us news of the next Power Ranger series. And since my ramble about the new toys was more or less, these toys look really cool, I'm super excited, I decided to do the Power Rangers bit instead, because there's actually quite a bit more to ramble about here than there would be with the Kyoryuger or Gaim, Tokyuger or Gaim discussion thingy. So, basically, for those of you living under a rock or don't know what's going on, or don't follow Power Rangers, this morning, actually yesterday, they announced that the finale, God, I'm so off today. The premiere for Power Rangers Super Mega Force was going to air early on Nick.com this Sunday, which is great. We get to see it early. That's cool and stuff. And then so today, Saturday, when I'm actually recording this, they went ahead and released a press release. The thing first leaked on USA Today, of all places, that the 2015 show was going to be called Power Rangers Dino Charge. And obviously, as you can tell, that's not Go Busters. They are foregoing Go Busters in a direct fashion to go straight to Juden Sentai Kyoryuger and do Power Rangers Dino Charge, which is actually a really cool game name, given the fact that, they use the banneries and everything, so it's Dino and Charge, like the banneries and stuff. So I'm kind of scrolling through my Twitter feed, and Mr. Yellow actually just brought up a very valid point, that this was more or less probably done because we, the fans, would find it instantaneously, because we are little moles. We go digging around looking for crap we're probably not supposed to know. So what better way to stop us from finding out early than to just tell us? So here we have the 22nd season of Power Rangers Dino Charge. So there is a little synopsis here that I'll read real quick. It says, in Dino Charge, the Paragon Prisms were given to a dozen dinosaurs for safekeeping by an alien, but they were lost when asteroids hit. I got choked up just thinking about the death of the dinosaurs. No, I don't know what that was exactly. But they were lost when the asteroids hit the Earth and wiped out the dinos. Now, in the present day, an intergalactic bounty hunter starts sniffing around Earth looking for the prisms in order to harness the power and annihilate the world. So a team of Power Rangers forms to find the prisms first and fight the bounty hunter and other threats with dino-powered swords, blasters, Zords, in Power Rangers lingo, large fighting machines, and Megazords. So this will obviously debut in 2015 after Super Mega Force is all done wrapping up. But, so, directly basing it off the synopsis, it really sounds nothing like Kyoryuger at all. If it wasn't for the fact that it's called Dino Charge, I wouldn't really know what they were doing. So it's interesting. We've brought up a couple points. Howling Snail pointed out that the 12 dinos thing could be the ambers that they collected in the middle of Kyoryuger. That the 12 could represent those, since there was 13 altogether, and Daigo had one already, so they were looking for 12. That could be a possibility. We could be introducing even more Rangers, or they could be wanting to implement Dino's Chaser and Dino's Grander more in some fashion. I don't know where they're actually pulling the 12 from. We have Tobaspino. So, if they utilize him through the small amount of footage that he was actually in, that's still only 11. So, I'm not really sure where the 12 is getting pulled from, what angle they're going with that, but I don't know. I guess we will find out what they're doing. Now, the Paragon Prisms, A lot of people are instantaneously assuming that those are the Judenchi. They might not be. They could just be 12 things. They could have nothing to do with the Banneries. They're looking for the prisms. It's not really saying that they use the prisms. So, as weird... Because, see, Paragon Prisms just seems like a really weird name for the Judenchi to me, when they have such easy-to-use terms like Beast Bannery. Now, I know kids probably aren't going to flip a biscuit over the term Bannery, but given the fact that we were using Ranger keys and we used discs, I don't see what's any less or more exciting about Banneries than keys. So, I really have no idea what they're doing in that facet. But the synopsis seems fun. An intergalactic bounty hunter, I guess that could be Chaos. But he doesn't seem bounty hunter-ish to me. I don't know. It could be an original character. And it says, and other threats. So it's really hard to tell what they're doing just based off a tiny little synopsis. But all in all, it does seem interesting. And I really, really hope that they're pooling their resources and bringing together a group of people who want to work on this show and want to make this show good. We haven't had that in forever, because Megaforce, Super Megaforce, Samurai, they're all so... yeah. And the people working on the show end up not getting what they want out of it because Zatcher and the other higher-ups are like, nope. That's dumb. Nope. Change. And so we end up with basically what we're looking at now. And, yeah, it's really disappointing in that regard. So I really hope that once the show gets going that we have a bunch of people that really do want to work on the show and really do want to make it something great. And, Kyoryuger has a lot of really good things going for it. I love Kyoryuger. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with it. Given the whole theme of Kyoryuger, I could see a direct adaptation happening in a sense. I do not see the dancing staying in the show. I see that being removed. Obviously, the Gabu revolvers, I highly doubt are going to be the transformation devices, because if standards and practices thought the Geki changers were too violent of a changer, morpher, whatever, then I highly doubt that we're going to see a gun as the actual morpher. So I'm thinking maybe they might utilize the Mobuckle as a morpher. That is a possibility. The Gabu revolvers are obviously here to stay. There's no way they're not making those. But just like Jungle Fury, I think the Geki changers were basically made into a weapon. I think the same thing's going to happen with the Gabu revolver. It's just going to be their sidearm that utilizes the power of the batteries to do their attacks. Now, obviously, they are going to still use the batteries to transform. Just put it in the Mobuckle thing and call it a day. I don't know what they're going to do. They might do a wrist thing or sunglasses again, because that worked so well the first time. But there's a lot of different things they can do. But I want to talk a minute about Go Busters. And everyone assumed the next show would be Go Busters. How they were going to do it was different. Were they going to do it a 1-year, 20-episode show and then move on to Kyoryuger? Would they expand Go Busters into 2 years? Would they try to do the Go Busters into Kyoryuger as a 2-year span? It was a lot of questions, and obviously that last one would never have worked, ever. And this is what we got. We got no Go Busters and straight to a Kyoryuger that will probably be 2 years. There's no telling what they're going to do right now. We just know that 2015 is going to be Kyoryuger. That is 100% confirmed fact. We don't know anything else. We don't know if they're going to move into Tokyuger right after Kyoryuger and do some sort of weird shift. Like, oh, your dinosaurs became extinct. Here's trains. Choo-choo! I don't know. But I want Go Busters to happen in some facet. Go Busters is my favorite Sentai of all the ones I've watched, which is a lot, actually, now. And it's a real shame to not see it adapted. Certain things in the show, excuse me, I don't know why that keeps happening, warranted itself so well to Power Rangers. The fact that it followed a very RPM-esque feel with the whole virus being the enemy thing. It had that going for it. The Zords were a little bit like engines in some facets, to where it would fit very well in an RPM-esque universe and setting. And it's just a little bit of a shame that it's getting skipped. I mean, you have a brace that says it's morphin time, for crying out loud. And so it's weird that a show that kind of used so many Power Rangers terms, it's morphin time, Megazords, things like that, isn't getting adapted. I think that's kind of funny, more or less. But I see so many people on Twitter and forums going like, oh, Go Busters was unadaptable. And that's just a BS lie. I mean, if Toei, Bandai, and Saban can make Samurai work for the US audience for 2 years, I'm pretty sure they could have did just fine with Spies. Something that I feel anyway that kids do enjoy. There was a lot of spy-themed cartoons a couple of years ago. There was an entire kind of half aisle of spy-related toys at Toys R Us when I worked there earlier last year. So I feel spies are still relevant enough to sell to kids, and as long as you kept certain gimmicks going, like the camera turning into the gun or the binoculars turning into the sword, I think some kids would have really liked that. And the Buster machines really warranted themselves to the Zord Builder system. You would have to have a lot of pegs that popped out in the same fashion that some of the pegs do on the Legendary Megazord in order to make a decent-looking Zord, as well as have the ports for the Megazord combination. But just looking at the Go Busters mech, you can tell it would warrant itself very, very well to the Zord Builder system. And it's a real shame that we're not getting that. Now, obviously, the Kyoryuger mech have the same thing going for them. They warrant themselves really well to Zord Builder. You just have to replace the Judenchi inside them into some sort of post with a Zord Builder port in it. And you basically got your setup there. So it's just disappointing that these toys won't come out, as far as we know. I was really looking forward to American Go Busters toys, because I really love the Go Busters toys I have. I wanted some more articulated figures, because Tamashi doesn't want to give us figure arts of Jay, Beat, or Stag, or Dark Red Buster, or Enter or Escapes monster forms, or anything that makes me happy. So I was really looking forward to figures of them. And we're probably not getting those. Now, it's way too early to jump to specific conclusions just based off this. They could revisit Go Busters after the Kyoryuger adaptation, if they felt it necessary. Go Busters elements could be split into the Kyoryuger adaptation. I don't know how exactly, because those two themes don't really mix all that well. The Go Busters could be a support group that pops up at periods in the show. Maybe. The Go Busters could just appear for a movie, like Clash of the Red Rangers. They do the team up with the other dinosaur groups, basically adapt the Kyoryuger vs. Go Busters movie, and make the Go Busters a kind of hidden team of rangers that support other ranger groups from not the shadows. They're not ninjas, but they're spies, so they're kind of supposed to be sneaky and stuff. So I don't know. That's a possibility too, but there's a lot of possibilities. I don't want to jump to conclusions yet. But if Go Busters is skipped in a 100% full capacity, I am really upset. Like I said, I love Go Busters, and I wanted to see what they could do with it, because I think the Go Busters has a lot of potential here. And I guarantee for a fact that one of the main reasons this probably happened was less Saban and more Toei. People forget that Toei has a huge say in what goes on in Power Rangers. Because people throw around, oh, Power Rangers is awful. I'm surprised Toei allows this to happen. Toei loves it. Toei basically earns so much money off of Power Rangers that as long as it's doing well, they don't really care. And Power Rangers is doing well enough for them to feel content. The fiscal numbers came out for Toei's income, and I believe a couple $1 billion at least came from Power Rangers. It might have been pushing close to 8. I don't have the exact number offhand, so I don't want to say. But yeah, Power Rangers does a lot for Toei. Because Super Sentai doesn't pull the numbers like Kamen Rider does, but with Super Sentai and Power Rangers together, they come really close to Kamen Rider. So those two franchises together mean a lot to Toei. So it's not like they don't care about Power Rangers, because they do. And I think one of their biggest things was they looked back at Go Busters, saw how the toys tanked. I'm not discussing ratings with anyone whatsoever. The Go Busters ratings were nominally smaller than Gokaiger and Kyoryuger's ratings were. Nominally smaller. I don't know if nominally is a word, but I'm trying to say they were very, very slightly smaller. To the point where everyone that hated Go Busters was leeching onto it, going, "Oh, Go Busters sucks. Look at these ratings." Kyoryuger's getting the same exact ratings with a slight edge up. Toy sales is where it's kicking butt. Kyoryuger's toy sales are through the frickin' roof. Like, completely obliterated the roof. Like, Gabutira just went and ate the roof. That is how big the Kyoryuger toys are selling. Go Busters toys sold for crap. It did not capture the Japanese child audience at all. They still sold. They still sold decently well. But they made, I think, Go Busters made like 9.8 billion, I think, while Kyoryuger's doing like 14 point something right now. So you can kind of tell that it didn't do as great. And so they consider it a failure. People throw the term failure around a lot, and it's really obnoxious because it was a failure for toy sales to them, because it didn't sell as much as Gokaiger did, or as much as Kyoryuger is. So they look at it and go, well, it didn't do as great, it's kind of a failure. They can't look at it and go as a failure for ratings, because Kyoryuger's getting like the same ratings. So they can't really do that, but toy sales they certainly can. And a lot of it, honestly, as much as I hate gimmicks sometimes, has to do with the fact that Go Busters didn't have a collectible gimmick. You don't have any reason to buy certain things. You just don't. And you don't have those individual things selling either. You don't have the Judenchi sets, candy toy capsule Judenchis, or the Ranger Key sets, or lock seeds for Gaim. Anything like that. You didn't have that collectible aspect in Go Busters, and that's where a lot of the sales tanked. It's not that the toys were selling awful. It's more or less the fact that there wasn't as much product to sell. They didn't put enough merchandise out. They were still leeching on to Ranger Keys, and decided to not do a collectible gimmick, and so you basically just had some mecha, some weapons, and some Sentai heroes, and they called it a day. And that's not going to bring in the numbers like Kyoryuger or Gokaiger did. I mean, obviously, if you don't have the collectible gimmick, you don't have as much product. And if you don't have as much product, you don't have as much sales. And so it looks like it was a failure. So we're with everyone throwing around the term it was a failure, a lot of that has to do with Bandai just being really stupid. If they would have tossed in a collectible gimmick with Go Busters, I guarantee the toy sales would have been better. I don't know how much better, and I don't know if they would have sold as much as Ranger Keys or Judenchi are, but it definitely would have been better than what it was. So that being said, Toei has no reason to not do Kyoryuger. Kyoryuger is doing so fantastic, I'm pretty sure they just want to keep on butt riding Gabutira all the way until no one likes us anymore. And I feel like that's kind of what they're going to do with Power Rangers, in the fact that you had Kyoryuger, and now they're like, okay, next up for Power Rangers is Go Busters. They're like, but wait, I know we said that you weren't allowed to skip a season, and that's why you had to do Ghost Sager for Megaforce. But, Kyoryuger's doing really damn good, and Go Busters just didn't do as damn good. Skip Go Busters. Do a Kyoryuger adaptation. Because they want those sales, and they think that the Kyoryuger line will sell more in America than the Go Busters line will, which probably will. It's dinosaurs. Kids love dinosaurs. Kids still love dinosaurs, and I'm pretty sure kids will always love dinosaurs, because dinosaurs are freaking awesome. And so I think that's what had a lot to do with it. They were like, oh, it's going to sell. Let's do it. Okay. So I believe that's kind of where we're at with this. I don't think it has anything to do with Go Busters being too grim dark, because it's not. Learn what grim dark is. It's not even a real word. It's not too grimdark. It has nothing to do with the fact that they weren't in spandex. It has nothing to do with the fact that it could have a little bit to do with the fact that there was a lot of footage that really wasn't usable, and they were basically forced into adapting the Buddy Roids. So that could have a little bit to do with it. I will surrender that fact. But I think it really boils down to toy sales. They want to do what will sell. Dinosaurs will sell to kids. No problem whatsoever. Go the safe route. Don't bother taking risks. That's basically how I feel they're at. Now, of course, you have some people that are throwing it out there that, that means they can skip ToQger. Hurrah! Calm down. Really, calm down. ToQger hasn't even aired yet. Airs next week, and I'm kind of really excited. But it hasn't even aired yet. Toys are not even out yet, and you're already claiming ToQger to be like the demon child of Sentai. Just stop. I highly doubt they're going to skip ToQger no matter what they do, because trains are actually still relatively popular with kids. You have both Thomas the Tank Engine and Chuggington both doing very, very well nowadays. And I don't think you're going to stop them from trying to bring the trains over. So, I highly doubt they're going to skip ToQger. So we'll see what happens. Like I said, we don't know if they're going to do Kyoryuger for 2 years, or whether they're going to bleed Kyoryuger into something else. Kyoryuger only be a 20-episode show. I guess that's possible. They could be adapting Kyoryuger into only a 20-episode show. And that's why it looks like it's following the plot of the middle portion of Kyoryuger with the Ambers. I don't know. But there's a lot of possibilities, and I'm just saying that while it is incredibly disappointing that we didn't get Go Busters, and I am really upset the fact that we're not getting a Go Busters adaptation, it's too early to kind of throw all your eggs in one basket and instantaneously go, we're not going to Go Busters anything. Because we don't know. This just happened. I know it's very spur of the moment. This suddenly was just kind of sprung on us, but it's at the point where people are assuming things really, really quick. And if this taught us anything, it's the fact that we do not know what they're going to do. As cut and paste as a lot of these shows are, we've just found out that they could skip something if they wanted to. They could change things around. They could implement one show into the other. We don't know. And so basically, the moral of the story is calm down. No matter what we say, no matter what we think, nothing's going to really change. Just like we do in the podcast, they're going to do what they want. So, there's really no point complaining about it. So, we'll just see what happens. I am optimistic for the future. And I really just want the show to be back to how great it used to be. And I hope that they compile a group of people that can bring the charm back to the show and stop riding on the nostalgia and really stupid childlike things. Because it's a children's show is not a valid excuse. TMNT is a children's show, and it is freaking fantastic. Avatar is a children's show. It is freaking fantastic. So it's a children's show is not a valid excuse for anything anymore, really. So we'll see what happens. Not expecting Academy Award winning writing here, but it'd be nice to go back to the late Saban or early any Disney season, really, and get that spark of imagination again. And given the fact that ToQger is all about imagination, what a better time to do it. So I don't know if I'll get to that ramble about Tokyu Rokugo or Gaim Kiwami. Like I said, long story short with them, I like everything that I see, and I'm looking forward to it quite a bit. I do have a Kyoryuger and Doki Doki Precure wrap-up coming up soon sometime, so stay tuned for that, special guests and stuff. So that should probably be the next ramble if I don't do one next week. If I do one next week, I don't know what it's going to be about. So stay tuned. As always, thanks for watching. Take care and have a great one. Bye.